Hello everybody, this is IndieGeek and we are back with another Let's Look. Today I am taking a look at Paper Dungeons. So this is a game by Agent Mega, and it is available now. You can either purchase through their website, which is what I will link to, or you can find the game on Desura, and it is $15. And in addition to that, the game has also been greenlit. So at some point, I would assume in the near future, it will be on Steam. So let me just give you kind of a brief overview of what's going on here. We've got a lot of different modes and kind of a lot of different stuff going on this page. So I've played like roughly 45 minutes, so I'm not too long in. There's actually like, if you beat a ton of the dungeons, you actually unlock 4 other classes. So I'm looking forward to really putting a lot more time into this. I will explain the dice later. There is a level editor, and that's what this online levels is for, because you can make your own levels and then upload and other people can play your levels. And then there's adventure mode and puzzle mode. So I'm going to jump in and I'm going to show, to start with the first few levels of adventure mode. So we're going to start at Goblins Lair number 1. So this is going to give us kind of our overview of what's going on. So, welcome adventurer. You start with one of your class power. Shield Rush, which allows you to escape a fight. If we had monster detect, we would be able to detect for 3 seconds all monsters on map, and regenerate would heal 80% of your full life during 4 rounds. Cool. So then we can switch our dice when we are not in a fight. You're allowed only a limited number of save points, which we can place at any point. Don't attack a monster too high level for you, which is kind of obvious. And then they've got different states. They're either sleeping, awake, alert, or on the hunt. Beware, you can destroy the blue walls, but they hurt you. And then discovering new tiles heals you, which is a pretty neat little thing. And then we want to defeat the boss to finish each level. So I'm going to explain the dice real quick. So when you're outside of a dungeon, you can actually choose your dice, and you get 2 sets, as you can see, and they all have different effects. So like, for example, if I were to go on this here, maybe it doesn't show me right now what these mean. Yeah, okay, so the red skull basically means I don't do any damage. There's a single damage, double damage, that kind of stuff. And they all have effects that I'm not really going to go into right now. So we are going to play here, and basically, so we see our dice on the left here and the monster's dice on the right. And the way this basically plays out is like a kind of a paper, like old school Dungeons and Dragons kind of game, which I definitely appreciate, mostly because I've always been really interested in playing things like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm gonna level up my health. That's pretty much my first thing that I level up all the time. But I haven't ever really had a group of people to play Dungeons and Dragons with, so I've always had kind of a special place as far as gaming for dungeon crawlers. So the fact that this one like recreates the paper experience so well, because I mean, it is called Paper Dungeons, and we are basically on a paper game board here, which is, I like it a lot. So basically what I'm saying is, like, presentation-wise, I am blown away by the game so far. So we can go read our sign. Boss room, come find me if you dare. Gormolt 1. So let's go fight Gormolt. Why not? Shouldn't be too bad. This first dungeon, being that it is basically just our kind of tutorial dungeon, is not too bad. So here you can see the different sets of dice that we have, and actually you can customize for the different classes, but like I said, I don't have different classes yet because I have yet to unlock them. So it also, it's nice because it shows you what you need to do to unlock each one. So you can see here, like, there are there's like a pretty good amount of content here even before you go online. So I'm just gonna stick with what I've got, and maybe we'll jump ahead to like number 3 here. Right, so this introduces our kind of, I don't know if they're calling it chicken. I'm gonna call it chicken either way. Okay. So yeah, it is chicken. Eating chicken in the middle of a fight is less effective, but it can save your life. So it does kind of work as sort of a just a chance to heal yourself in the middle of the fight, which is definitely helpful. And I will have to use it here. So the reason they've kind of put us in this situation where we are fighting a level 2 monster, well, we're only level 1, so it was pretty much guaranteed that we would need to use our chicken. So that was kind of a nice little bit of tutorialization there. So you probably won't notice because I'm not going to play these levels more than once, but they are actually randomly generated as well. So there are kind of some roguelite elements to it. And I say roguelite because I don't know if this is like truly a roguelike, but it does have some of those elements to it. Alright, so I will go for attack again. So one of the things that you really want to do with this is plan out where you go and when, so that you can go into basically every battle possible with full health by discovering new tiles. That it's actually pretty important. And one of the other things I'm going to show off is the puzzle dungeons, because those really play on that point. So pretty nice like user interface as far as like zooming in and stuff like that. I haven't really had any problems as far as that kind of stuff. And so a lot of this is just kind of planning where you go in the dungeon and when, to make sure that you are basically the right level to fight whatever you're fighting. And in most cases you're going to have to fight every monster to have a chance to take out the boss, because the boss is typically about the highest level that you can get. So we'll see here that I'm going to be level 5 when I fight the boss, so it's a good thing that I've got that other piece of chicken. Although I may not need it. Yeah, my attack was high enough that I took him out anyways. So, I think I'll do maybe one more. Yeah, we'll jump in and do kind of a harder one. So, a new encounter. Yeah, so this is going to show off our spell. Take good care of this book. You can destroy with it any magical walls. So, I'll do that. And there we go. We can get through that. Which is nice because I haven't shown it off, but if you can, like it said in the tutorial, you can attack those walls, but it does like 10-ish damage. So there's a chance that if I were to do that now, I would just die. Let me see. Yeah, so that's going to do 20 damage to me, actually. So you definitely want to avoid that. And one of the things that I really like is that, so you've seen each dungeon here, we've started off back at level 1. So each little dungeon kind of becomes its own, kind of almost like a game of Dungeons and Dragons, but on a really small scale each time. Because, I mean, you've seen none of these have taken a very long time. So, in my perspective, this works really well. It's just kind of like a sit down and play maybe 1 or 2 rounds of it, and then go do something else for a while. And I like that. You know, it kind of sets itself apart from, you know, maybe some other games this style. I mean, like, so for example, something like Dungeons of Dreadmore, which has kind of this kind of style, a game of that can take hours. But this, I can just sit and I can play a full game of pretty quickly. And I like that. And feel like I've actually made some progress. So I will finish off this dungeon, and then I want to go show off some of the puzzle dungeon part of this, and then probably call it good there. You know, I don't want this to drag on too long. I think if you probably all have the point by now that I am a pretty big fan of this. Okay, I will try and fight this rock. Rocks can be tough because they do a lot more damage than the goblins, and they've got like more physical resistance. So if you're not the same level as a rock, then chances are you will not beat the rock. So just kind of something to watch out for. Alright, dig again, the boss isn't far. Okay. I think this one actually takes 2 digs. It does, but because I was able to level up beforehand, my mana was high enough that I could afford 2 digs, otherwise I would have had to hurt myself to get through that. What do we have here? Alright, let's go fight this guy. And I should actually set a save point. Yeah, this is one of those points where you want to kind of set a save point here. Go fight this guy, because this is going to be kind of a tight spot here. Let's do health. Try and take out this rock. Yes, I mean, like I said, like by this point you should probably have a good idea that I am a big fan of this game. I'm going to set a save point again. And we should be okay here. Yeah, we're fine. So some of the things I haven't talked about yet are things like the... Okay, well first let me explain the puzzle mode. So, this is a much more strategic mode, as you could imagine by the name of the mode. So, there's no fog of war, so we can see everything from the beginning. Hover your mouse on tiles and monsters and use the info box on the right. Static monsters don't move to attack you. So we can calculate the damage done, whereas we couldn't before because it was kind of random. And then there's fixed damage, so we know exactly what we're going to do and exactly what the monsters are going to do. Everything is fixed. So that's basically that. So whereas before we had a lot of randomness, now we don't. So there, like, it was important for me to step where I did in order to get through that. Otherwise, I would have died trying to fight 3 goblins in a row. So, what I'm going to mention now is, because I haven't mentioned it yet, and this is kind of something I typically talk about in my look-ats. As far as, like, art and stuff goes, I really like the art in this game. Oh, yep. So that's where we needed to eat. So like I said, these can be quite a bit more difficult. But that is quite alright. So we do that, that, eat, and then do that. And then we're good to get through there. Perfect. Yeah, I really love the art style. I mean, in a way, it's kind of cutesy in a bit, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it fits the game really well. And go take on this spider. Perfect. So, like you can see here, this is definitely a much more strategic way to do this. Okay, so this is definitely an interesting one, the way this works out. I remember it took me a little bit to figure out how to do it exactly, because you want to really time your heals well, basically. And I may have mistimed. Okay, so there's a level up. So let's see here. I think I can do that. And then I want to do that, and I want to leave, so I can go back here and heal. So this, like, tripped me up a lot, trying to figure out how to get through this part. Because you actually have to, like, really strategically decide when you're going to take a hit on the walls. And it's actually, I believe it's not possible to get through without taking a hit on some of the walls. So if I do that, and then I can do this, come down here and over here, and then I should be good to fight. Ugh, can't talk today. So, that gives you a pretty good overview of kind of what's going on here. Obviously, there's a ton more than what I've shown. There's, I think, in total, yeah, so 125 adventure dungeons, and then more puzzle dungeons. After you do 8 adventure dungeons, you unlock the Rogue Dungeon, which basically is like a survival, so this is much more influenced by Rogue, so that's actually like more of a roguelike area. So, now I was just going to talk real quickly. Like I said, I really, really love the art. I think it works very, very well with kind of what's going on in the game. And as well, I really love the music as well. We didn't hear too much of it, but it's got lots of kind of really like fantasy-inspired music. It sounds almost like a kind of like a Howard Shore soundtrack, that kind of stuff. Lots of soaring kind of French horn melodies, stuff like that. And I think it really fits in well. But, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got to say here. I really enjoy it. I am definitely going to keep playing it in my free time. I may upload a couple videos every now and then, just kind of showing you guys where I'm at as far as progress, because I definitely see myself playing more of this, and I think that it is a really good game to pick up if you are into kind of the Dungeons and Dragons style of, dungeon crawler. I think this does a lot of good things, and it works really, really well. And I highly recommend it. I think that if you normally like this kind of game, this one does it better than most of the ones that I've played, so I would definitely recommend picking this up. So, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Huge recommendation from me. And as always, feel free to leave comments if you've got anything that you would like to comment on in the video. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day. And if you liked my look at Paper Dungeons, please consider clicking the like button, because that could help me out a lot, and I appreciate everything that you do to help. So with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.